11:47 p.m. My phone lights up. Again. Same name. Same pattern. Same expectation. I stare at the screen in the dark, the glow reflecting off the ceiling. And in that moment, I realize something. This isn't about work anymore. This is about control. So instead of arguing, instead of complaining, I decided to do something far more dangerous. I said nothing and changed everything. If you've ever had a boss who thought your time belonged to them, even after hours, this story is going to hit way too close to home. Hit like, subscribe, and let's get into one of the smartest, most satisfying silent revenge stories you'll hear. There's a certain kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from working hard. It comes from never really being off. I didn't notice it at first. That's how it always starts. Small things. Harmless things. Easy to ignore. My manager. Let's call him Daniel. He wasn't a bad guy. That's what made it worse. Because if he was openly toxic, rude, aggressive, it would have been easier to push back, to say something, to draw a line. But Daniel, he was subtle, polite, professional, always smiling in meetings, always saying things like, just flagging this for visibility. No rush, just when you get a chance. But the timing? That's where everything changed. 10:12 p.m., 11:03 p.m., sometimes 12:01 a.m. Emails, Slack messages, little pings that broke through whatever boundary I thought I had. At first, I told myself, it's fine. I don't have to reply right now. But then came the mornings. Stand up. Cameras on. Everyone giving updates. And then his voice. Hey, did you get a chance to look at that thing I sent last night? Not aggressive. Not angry. Just casual. But something about it made your stomach drop. Because now, everyone's listening. Everyone's watching. And suddenly, it doesn't matter that you didn't reply. I started noticing patterns. Not just in him, but in myself. I'd be sitting on the couch, watching something meaningless, and my phone would buzz. That tiny vibration, it felt loud, like it was calling me back, pulling me out of my own life. I'd tell myself, don't check it, and then I'd check it. Every time, and every time I did, it reinforced something. Something dangerous. He can reach me anytime. And the worst part, I was helping him prove it. Weeks passed, then months, and something shifted inside me. It wasn't anger. Not yet. It was something quieter, something heavier, resentment, the kind that builds slowly, layer by layer, moment by moment, until one night, everything changed. It was 11:47 p.m. I remember the exact time, because that was the moment everything became clear. I was lying in bed, room completely dark, the kind of silence that feels peaceful. Then, buzz. I didn't move at first, just stared at the ceiling. Then I reached for my phone. Daniel. Subject line. Quick thoughts. I opened it. It wasn't urgent. Not even close. Just something that could have waited. Until morning. And I felt it. That tightness in my chest. That quiet frustration. That question rising in my mind. Why am I doing this? Not the work. Not the job. But this. This constant availability. This invisible pressure. This expectation. And then a second thought followed. Slower. Sharper. More deliberate. What if I just stopped? Not quitting. Not confronting. Just changing the rules. Silently. That night, I didn't reply. I just locked my phone. Put it down. Closed my eyes. And for the first time in months, I slept. But the real change didn't happen that night. It happened the next day. Because that's when I decided, if he wanted access to my time, he was going to get it. Exactly 24 hours later, I didn't argue. I didn't complain. I didn't set boundaries. I built a system. And that system started changing everything. The next morning felt different. Not because anything had changed yet, but because I had. I woke up, checked my phone, and there it was. Daniel's email from 11:47 p.m. Unread. Waiting. Normally, I would have rushed. Opened it immediately. Replied before even brushing my teeth. But this time, I just looked at it and smiled. Slightly. Because now, it wasn't pressure. It was data. I opened the email. Read it carefully. Same as always. Nothing urgent. Nothing important enough to justify midnight. And that's when I made the decision. Clear. Simple. Precise. 24 hours. No emotions. No exceptions. No explanations. Just 24 hours that I didn't just ignore the email. That would have been risky. Unpredictable. Messy. Instead, I replied. Immediately. But I didn't send it. I drafted the perfect response. Clear. Professional. Helpful. Then I saved it. Closed the app. Set a reminder. 11:47 p.m. Tomorrow. That was the rule. And rules don't break. Something strange happened that day. I felt lighter. Because for the first time, I wasn't reacting. I was choosing. Every notification didn't control me anymore. It was just a timer. That night, it happened again. 10:58 p.m. Buzz. I looked at the screen. Didn't even feel annoyed. Just curious. Opened the email. Read it. Drafted the reply. Saved it. Closed my phone. And went back to my life. No stress. No urgency. No pull. Just control. The next night, 11:47 p.m. My reminder went off. I opened the draft. Read it one last time. Perfect. And then, I hit send. There was something about that moment. Something quiet, but powerful. Like flipping a switch. That I didn't say anything. Didn't explain. Didn't justify. But the message was there. Clear as day. You get my time when I decide. The next morning at stand-up, everything felt normal. Until it didn't. Daniel paused. Looked at me. Hey, saw your reply last night. I nodded. Yeah, I got to it. There was a tiny hesitation. Barely noticeable. But it was there. Because something didn't line up, the next email came. And the next. And the next. And every single time. Same process. Read. Draft. Wait. Send. Exactly. Hours. No exceptions. After about a week, something started changing. His emails were coming earlier. At first, just a little. From 11 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then 8. Then 7. I noticed immediately. But I didn't react. Didn't adjust. Because the system didn't care. 7 p.m. email. 7 p.m. reply next day. Still 24 hours that I remember sitting at my desk one afternoon. Watching the clock. 6:59 p.m. Then, buzz. I smiled. Because I knew. He was trying. Trying to beat the delay. Trying to regain control. And the best part? He didn't even know the rules. Weeks turned into a pattern. Emails kept shifting earlier. From evening to late afternoon. From late afternoon to midday. And through all of it, I stayed exactly the same. Consistent. Precise. Unmovable. But here's the thing about people. Especially in power. They don't respond to words. They respond to patterns. And I gave him one. A pattern he couldn't argue with. Because technically, I was doing everything right. No missed work. No delays. No attitude. Just time. About a month in, something happened. A moment so small, most people wouldn't notice. But I did. Because I'd been watching, tracking, waiting. It was 4:58 p.m. And there was no email. 5 p.m. 5:12 p.m. Buzz. I looked at it and smiled. Because I realized something. He had been holding it, waiting, thinking, choosing. And that meant he was learning that at this point, he wasn't sending emails late anymore. But that wasn't the real win. The real win was what happened next. By the second month, everything had changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly, consistently, like water wearing down stone. Daniel's emails now came before 5 p.m. Almost always. No more midnight pings. No more late night pressure. And the strangest part, no one ever talked about it. Not me, not him, not the team. But everyone noticed there's something subtle that happens when one person sets a boundary. Without saying it, it spreads. At first, it was just me, but then I noticed. Others stopped replying late too. Slack went quiet after work hours. Emails slowed down. It was like the whole team had been waiting for permission, and I had given it. Without ever speaking, Daniel changed too. Not just the timing, but his tone. His messages became clearer, more structured, more intentional. No more random late-night thoughts. No more unnecessary pings. Because now, he knew, if it wasn't important enough for the day, it could wait. There was one moment that sealed it. We were in a team meeting. Normal day. Normal updates. Someone asked a question. Something small. And Daniel paused. Then he said something that caught me off guard. Let's pick this up tomorrow. Tomorrow. Not tonight. Not later. Tomorrow. And in that moment, everything clicked. Because that sentence didn't exist before. I leaned back in my chair. Quiet. Listening. And I felt it. That calm satisfaction. That deep, steady feeling of control. Not over him. Not over the situation. But over my time. WY month 4. The transformation was complete. Emails? Before noon. Meetings? Structured. Expectations? Clear. And, most importantly, respect. Not the loud kind. Not the kind you demand. The kind you earn. And the best part? He never called it out. Never questioned it. Never challenged it. Because he couldn't. From his perspective, nothing was wrong. I was responsive, professional, reliable. But underneath, everything had changed. I had taken control without confrontation. I had set boundaries without saying no. I had reshaped his behavior without him even realizing it. One afternoon, I closed my laptop. 5 p.m. No notifications. No pending replies. No pressure. Just silence. Real silence. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was waiting. Waiting for the next email. Waiting for the next interruption. Waiting for work to invade my life. Because now, it couldn't. Not anymore. Here's the thing no one tells you. You don't always need to fight. You don't always need to argue. You don't always need to explain yourself. Sometimes, the smartest move is to change the pattern. Because patterns control people more than words ever will. If this story made you realize something about your own work life, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the smartest way you've ever handled a difficult boss? And don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes the best revenge is perfectly timed smiling face with horns.